everyone to the T.R.O.N podcast. This is your host, Rashad Woods. Today, I have a very special guest, a power of positivity, all around wonderful human being, and a very successful entrepreneur, Ms. SuZan Peltekian. How are you today?
I'm so delighted to be here, Rashad. Thanks so much for having me. Likewise,
I'm doing
back
fantastic.
at you. How are you?
Fantastic. I know we've exchanged a few emails back and forth, and let's talk about your background. Straight from Canada, with Greek background, and you have done wonderful things and impacted multiple lives. So let's just dive right into your background and what made you you.
Thank you, Rashad. It's such an honor to be here. From childhood, this is all I've wanted to do. I wanted to be a speaker. I didn't know anything about being a coach, but I wanted to travel the world and be a speaker. And now I'm traveling the world and I'm a speaker. You said I'm from Toronto, Canada, and here you see it's nighttime, daytime where you are, nighttime here. I'm in Dubai. We're supercharging our one world. We're here with the power of the internet, the limitless mind. Like most, I never believed in myself. So I went through a few JOBs to get here. And now, thankfully, as I was sharing with you before you hit the record button, I don't work a day in my life. I supercharge our one world by living my childhood dream and divine purpose to raise the consciousness of our human precious souls, one precious soul at a time. That's my mission, and to touch the billions. And my vision is to co-create your juiciest vision and life by design.
Well, I think the most
wonderful
thing that you've accomplished is that, throughout my conversations with you by email and even introduction, is you've always had a positive mindset. And that is the first key to actually being successful, because a lot of people have already defeated themselves or they get, caught in negativity. So what brought this positive attitude with you?
Well, if I may be honest now, I almost don't want to share, since you said always. I always seemed like this, Rashad, outwardly, and everything I teach is in the Bible. Although I don't teach the Bible, I don't teach theology. It says, as within, so without. I teach universal laws, the law of attraction, and that's the law of correspondence. My inside wasn't actually a match to the outside. I seemed positive. It was toxic positivity. So in my mind, I would tell you off, but I wouldn't dare to tell you off to your face. Now I've learned to actually, through the power of the work that I teach and that I learned throughout over a decade now, through mentors like, I don't know if I asked if you know Bob Proctor. He was one of my mentors before he passed away. He was in the movie The Secret. I teach. So I learned that it's as within, so without. I work on my inside, and that's why it manifests and radiates outwardly. It's work. So I don't want to lie and say that, it's been practicing of a lot of work.
Right. So, but the people that you have helped, all the 5-star reviews you've received, all the services, people you've helped globally have all had the exact same thing. They found a better version of themselves. So when you're working real estate, what made you kind of step back and take that bird's eye view and said, I am going to go and do this, and I'm going to pursue this to the best of my ability and be successful at it?
Whoa, what a fantastic question. So, Rashad, the truth is, I believe everyone is God's highest form of creation. And if anyone listening in is stopped by the word God, I use them interchangeably with spirit, with Gus. Gus is God, universe, spirit, infinite intelligence, co-creator. I love how you said that, to pursue my highest self or become I believe everyone is Michelangelo's David, and all we're doing is chipping away the layers of the conditioning, of the programming, of the lies they've told us, so that we can actually unleash into the fullness of who the Creator made us. So I didn't know that. I actually, through a lot of self-loathing, I was a fish in water. I didn't even know that I loathed myself. Through a lot of that, I thankfully went into the work, and the work led me into a deep level of self-awareness and self-love, which if we are co-creators, we must love ourselves. That's step number one in any manifestation. It was actually one powerful decision. So whoever's listening in, Rashad, this is such a powerful question you asked. I'm so grateful. Each one of us is literally one, I'm getting goosebumps, one decision away from a completely different life, one idea away from a completely different life, one thought away from a completely different life. That is what I teach in my daily coaching, the Mind Gym, in my global complimentary masterclasses worldwide. And I literally, it was right before COVID. I'm grateful you asked. So grateful. In fact, I made one decision that I'm retiring from real estate. I had no idea how I would do this. I knew I wanted to do it, but I didn't have the guts, to be very frank. And it was one decision. And when we make that decision, by law, the universe will literally come at your rescue. What it did was, I at the time attracted hear me out, the number one RE/MAX real estate company worldwide that happened to be in my backyard, a Canadian brand. It's called Remax Hallmark. Till now, we have the best partnership. They're fantastic human souls. They filled up, listen to this, all of my coaching spots during COVID, because I retired January of 2020 from real estate.
Of course
and
not.
we didn't know that March 15th we're going to get. Thank you.
No, that was not on the almanac.
No, we can only connect the dots looking backwards, as Steve Jobs says, right? So they filled up all my spots, the owner, Kenny and McLachlan. And this is my story. And the rest has been, so it's been, now I just celebrated 5 years officially. I had been doing it for 3 years prior to that for free. But Supercharged with SuZan, the company was born in January of 2020, right before COVID hit.
Timing is perfect sometimes in life, when it comes to. So here you are. Was it while you were grinding at real estate, and obviously people are very successful in that field, did you ever sit back and say, okay, well, like what was it in that particular field that says, I'm going to retire on this given date and I'm going to pivot towards doing this because there's another level to who I am? Was it a religious epiphany? Was it a personal epiphany? Was it just sitting on the couch one day and said, I'm going to plan this out?
So thank you. There was no planning. It was a tugging at my soul that I was cheating on myself. As I mentioned, Rashad, this is the only thing I've ever wanted to do my entire life, but I never believed in myself like most don't. And that is critical in manifesting what we want. We don't attract what we want. We attract who we're being and what we believe in. And that is exactly, I just didn't. I thought the answer was out there. Like, if I just did another personal development course, if I just did this. And of course, I was in a lot of coaching. I think coaching is the most transformational thing, mentorship, the right coach. And of course, I was guided to retire, but no one can tell you. I always tell my precious clients, my beloved, I'm like, I can only bring the horse to the well. I can't make you drink it, right? Hindsight now, it's easy for me to say, hey, just do it. But I did it. And if I can do it, that's the message I want to relay to every precious soul listening in. Rashad, if I can do it, that means you can do it, because I am you. You are me. By you, I don't mean Rashad. I mean anyone, of course, listening in to us, because that is the reality, that you can get anything you want if you're willing to make that decision and be that individual. And it's going to take gut. It's going to take courage. But guess what? It's all within you. You are me. I am you. And most of the time, what I found as being a high peak performance coach and manifestation mindset coach is most of us are resisting our greatness.
And, it's funny because I always bring back the child analogy, right? Because a child is so curious and they don't care if they look foolish. They don't care what toy they grab, what object they pick up, whether it burns them, whether it hurts them. But they're so curious. And then as you get older, it becomes almost bad to be curious, right? You're almost like you go into this shell where you're like, that might hurt, that might embarrass, that might, I don't know. And then people start to revert and kind of turn inward a little bit, right? First of all, you can't turn inward talking to you, because that's not going to work. But then more importantly, curiosity is a great thing. Let's talk about, I don't need any specific names, where you reach people at their stages in life, similar to yours, if they said, hey, I've peaked at this level of my level of where I'm at in any avenue, and I need to get here to get to ultimate fulfillment. Do people give examples married of people for a long time? Is it because they're stagnated, in their personal life, in just what stages of it?
Sure, I'll share that. And I want to talk about, I love how you brought up that curiosity. I really believe that's done by design. They've programmed us. They say curiosity kills the cat. Curiosity, I'm so grateful you brought it up, Rashad. That's beautiful. Is actually, and I thought it was wrong all my life. I'm like, I'm not curious. I'm not going to ask Rashad anything. I couldn't even actually open my mouth as a realtor when I first started to even ask a question. And yet it's by asking questions that you actually guide people to their decision making, to actually serve them. That our job is to serve our mankind. And now, as a living, I told you before you hit record, I don't work a day in my life. This is my childhood dream. It's my divine purpose. All I do is ask you questions to guide you to your greatness. Your greatness is within you. I'm not really the one guiding you, but by asking you, I'm getting that out of you, if you will. You're gaining the awareness, right? So, and they did that by design. They had us, we were curious. We are, because we're born in the perfect vibration. In our DNA, we're perfect. In our ways of being, not so much, Rashad. I share that all the time. I'm like, and we have so many bankrupt ways of being, but I always say in my global master classes, this is a zero judgment zone. I live in the biggest glass house. Like, that's what makes it so beautiful to be a human in the flesh, to actually work on those ways of being that are bankrupt, to unbecome everything that the programming made us to be, so that we can unleash into the fullness, into the essence, into the beauty who God made us. Pure liquid love, a
Well,
walking
it's no
miracle.
different than
That's
the
who you
grocery
are.
store, right? Like they'll put the cheap and salty foods right where
Tell
you
me.
have to, where it's easy accessible to you, right? Because you're programmed to walk towards stuff like that, stuff that you actually need to help and make you healthier, whether it's your gut, whether it's lose weight. You have to work to find it because the things that are cheap and accessible are easy to get to. It's the things that are hard to get to, right? And you have to, the vegetables, you know, the fruits, the almond milk, the almond butter. You have to search for those things. They're not sitting right on the shelf at bird's eye view. And it's going to take the extra 20, 30 minutes. But to your point, we tend to go towards the things that are convenient and cheap, right? And give immediate gratification. For example, like for just myself, this podcast is hard. It's hard work, right? It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be challenging. It's supposed to, you know, I have to do my research on people that I talk to be able to earn credibility on the topic that I'm speaking on to grow an audience. Things that you want to pursue are not easy.
That is fantastic. That's why I only shop in the perimeters, never in the middle. It's all the box stuff. It doesn't really work. It's not in harmony with who we are. That is fantastic how you brought it up. Which brings us, because when we're eating actually that stuff, we actually can't think as well either. We're already not thinking because of the programming. And the average person, to answer your second question there, usually comes to me to earn more money. That's really the basis. So within months of working with me, the average person has 4x their income. Some have doubled, some have tripled, some haven't. Some have 5x. Listen, it gets better. Some have turned their yearly into their monthly, and now we're rinsing and repeating. Because remember, the originals have been with me. So I've been doing this for 5 years. I've celebrated 5 years in January, Supercharged with SuZan. But they were with me since before I was, since I was a realtor. We were doing this for free. I charged them, Rashad. It was free. I'm like, I'm going to start charging you guys.
How did that conversation work?
I upped their investment. Like that. I'm going to, yes, but except I wasn't as bold, and I'll tell you. So, and then I increased the investment. They stay. I increased it again. They stay. And now listen to this. Their renewal came up in January. Contract doesn't even go out the last few years. They just pay for the year. They just get it. This is the mind gym. It's no different than going to the gym. I love
that name.
Thank you. But we're literally working on your biggest asset, which is limitless, which I really want to dive into. Should there be time, unless I come back? Yeah. So that's what we're working on, Rashad. Bob Proctor would always say that less than 2% of the population is actually thinking or thinks. 3% think they think. 95%, hear this out, would rather die than think. And when I first heard it, my ego didn't like it, of course, right? It's like, what do you mean? And I see it every day, because we have anywhere from 60 to 70,000 thoughts, apparently, give or take, a day. If you really think about it, most of them are just on autopilot. Yesterday's thoughts, the programmed thoughts, the lies, if you will. What am I going to eat? What am I going to wear? Oh no, trouble with money. So now my people are starting to think very differently. As I said earlier, you're one decision away, one thought away, one idea away from a completely different life. So although they first come in to earn more, listen to this. I don't teach a thing about parenthood. I've decided not to be a mom. Better parents, thank me. I teach the juiciest marriages, juiciest relationships, conscious uncoupling. People are getting along with their exes. I mean, like, I can't, like, in a juicy way, not just getting along, because what I teach is life by design. Again, it's in the Bible. I don't teach the Bible. I don't teach theology. It says, without a vision, the people perish. I teach you first and foremost, that's the first step in the law of attraction, is to create your vision, right? Create what is it that you want? Because otherwise, I'm trying to get to Detroit from Dubai right now, but the GPS is taking me to LA. Well, I ain't going to get to Detroit, right? So what happened, to answer your, did you want to jump in before? No,
I'm just, sorry. I'm just like, don't even worry about it. Trust me.
It's very exciting what I do. So thank you. It was a couple months into the calls. We weren't on Zoom yet, Rashad. We used to be on the phones. All of a sudden, I heard a young man. He was completely transformed. It's like within 2 months, I didn't recognize him, even though I was on the phones with him every day. You know how you're a dad, you know this. We have children, we see them every day. We don't see how much they've grown. And then you see maybe a picture of them from Facebook memories, or a relative sees them, right? And be like, boy, what happened to you, right? It was like that
Yeah.
because I'm like their mama bear. I've
Sure.
decided not to be a mom, but I love my clients like they're my family, right? And I'm like, what happened to you? What happened? And I'm like, oh my goodness,
Right.
you've done a 180. Rashad, after that, I created my programs called the 180. Everyone's done a 180 except spirit, hear this out, Rashad, is for expansion. That means we're forever
Correct.
here to expand. We were taught one of the biggest lies that we must go get a goal. Well, get a client. A client ain't a piece of meat. We're not going to try to get something. We want to become, because what we're doing is we're exchanging this one precious life for that goal. So that goal better be worthy of us. It better be worthy of our time,
and so,
right?
What makes what you do so precious is that, people ultimately live longer when they have a purpose. They live longer, have healthier relationships, have healthier marriages, have better relationships with their families, right? It all works in concert with one another, because what happens is that you can kind of just coast. I get up, I eat my breakfast, and then, people can go through the routine. And so I'm imagining a lot of your clients will sit back and say, I got to juice up my better version of myself, because I'm not guessing on your demographics, but I would imagine you're probably reaching people circa 35 to 50, maybe even 60, right? Where like right.
Yes,
they're
60
like,
plus
hey,
even, yes.
Where did I hit my ceiling, so to speak, right? Did I peak?
Yeah.
And, it's no different than like, and again, this is about you, not me, but when I take martial arts, right, I've taken different styles. And the reason I've taken different styles, not because of bad instructors. I have wonderful instructors, wonderful teaching, wonderful coaching. But it's like, I want to try something different that challenges me. That's all that is, right? Right. And it has nothing to do with any type of style that I've learned. I'm just like, I need to learn something else. Even though I'm a martial artist, I need to do a different martial art to get better at something else,
Yes. And that's the beauty. Thank you for sharing that, Rashad. With them, what happened is the one thing we're working on, the only difference between you and I and someone listening in, is awareness. I always give that example. Bob would explain it. It's like someone working at a 5-star resort, that they're cleaning the resort, let's say, and the person staying there with their family versus the person who owns that 5-star resort and multiple others around the globe. The only difference between each one is awareness. And what we're working on every day is unlearning all of the BS, the conditioning, the programming, the lies, so that we can actually unleash into the fullness, thank you, of who we truly are, right? That new awareness is now making them. So I have clients, for example, who've sold, listen to this, not billions in real estate, but now they realize, wait a minute, I have this big team, I'm selling in the billions, I want global businesses, so I'm now helping them with that. I have clients who are realtors, they want online businesses. I'm helping them with that. So they're realizing that there's so much more to life than what there is from what we've been taught. So even though most of my clients are self-employed, they're learning that there are so many different aspects to us. And that is just through awareness. And that's the one precious thing, Rashad, and the only difference between all of us. And that all of us have access to that.
It kept evolving, right? Apple kept evolving. Like, it goes from like this terminal, right, that you're just like, okay, I had an Apple IIc as a kid, right? And then next thing you know, they go to the iPad, the iPhone, right? They keep evolving. Google came from a search engine, and now it's every avenue of your house because it kept evolving, right? Yahoo, as successful as Yahoo is, didn't evolve at the same plane as Google. Blockbuster did not evolve at the same level of Netflix, right? It's gone.
That's right. It's gone.
It's gone.
Yes.
Because,
I love what
it kept
you said
evolving,
there. Yes,
right?
thank
So
you.
like
Go on.
those items, they were like, hey man, DVD by mail or stream in your home. Then so everything is about continuous evolution, which is why you have the client base that you have, because you're not supposed to stay the same. You're supposed to evolve. As you get older, things tend to happen, whether it's physical, whether it's mental, whether it's kids leaving the house. And the worst thing you can do for yourself is to stay exactly the same. And this is respective of religion or cultural aspect. You're supposed to evolve into a better version of yourself, right? You are.
I love
you just
that.
have to.
Sorry, what you just said there, by the way, Bob would always teach it. It's create or disintegrate. We're co-creators. And that's one of the biggest lies, that we stay where we are. There is no status quo, Rashad. If we're not going forward, for sure we're going backwards. But that's part of the biggest lie of the programming. And I had bought into it, by the way. I thought there was something called retirement. I will die on the world stages, and you'll see me, young man. Retirement, if you look it up, which most have learned, hey, get the job, work for 40 years, and then retire, and then drop dead. That's not the life. Life by design is you create such a juicy life that you want to go to work because you're not exchanging your time for the money. You're exchanging your time to service. I'm a servant of my human race. I get to be here. Like, it's almost 8 o'clock. Yesterday I had another podcast, and it was a young man from Germany. He said, thanks for being here. The day before I was on another one. The lady from the States said, thank you that it's late. I'm like, it's not late for me. I'm like, it's joy to be here. This keeps me going, serving our human race, right? But what you said there is so important because it's create or disintegrate. And one of the biggest lies we were sold is about age. With age, we're actually getting better. And I had bought into it that, it's downhill after 50. I can't tell you how many American Canadian clients I have who, when they first joined my programs, some of them were only in their 30s. They thought, hey, we're going like downhill now.
No,
we're turning
not
40.
at all.
I'm like, are you
Not
for
at all.
real? And then through coaching, they got their best bodies, even though I don't teach, like I'm not a person, right?
Yeah.
They started, because a healthy mind resides in a healthy body and vice versa. And they realized, these were lies we had bought into. We don't have, and we only get better and better, Rashad, unless we buy into the lie that they sold us. Then we're obviously going to get worse because we become what we think about.
And so,
does that resonate?
And the key is about it too is, I think, in the old adage is with age comes wisdom, and so you start to become more conscious of the things that you want and ultimately are not, and people gravitate towards the things that they're good at and avoid the things that they're not good at. For example, even putting this podcast out, right? I thought of a million reasons why I shouldn't have started it, right? Because, how's it going to be received? How am I going to get people to talk to me? Am I interesting enough to have a good topic with people? And then finally, I got out of my own head and I'm like, if it bombs, if it does well, if people want to be on it, it doesn't matter, but I know that I at least need to try. And through trying, I then started getting people to talk to. And now ultimately, I get a chance to talk to a successful, entrepreneur from Canada and now in Dubai because of that risk that I took to put this out, right? And that's what it's all about. So just briefly, I want to segue into Supercharged with SuZan, a typical client introduction and how that, the personal assessment kind of takes place.
Wow. I haven't been asked this before, Rashad. Thank you for saying that, but you're really making a massive difference for everyone you're inviting to have here, not just me, and globally, because you're on the internet. And thank you for getting out of your way to be of service to our mankind and to everyone who listens in. Build it and they will come, and the right people will find you, and they'd be so grateful. They are so grateful that you're here. Like, the world needs you and your services. Yeah, you're so welcome. Thank you. So I really can help anyone who wants to learn about who they really are. God's highest form of creation, this universe's highest form of creation. I believe it's my gift and my divine purpose to teach people about their own divinity, that you are literally a spark of the divine. And a lot of entrepreneurs work with me, realizing that, wow, is this like, because they were all successful when they started, right? I said they wanted more money, but then with the awareness, they realized there's just so much more. And as far as I know, and I've Googled this multiple times, Rashad, I'm the only company worldwide that offers daily coaching. That's why I called it the Mind Gym, and you would appreciate it as an athlete. You don't go to the gym once a month or once a week, which I was, and I won't mention names. I was in multiple great coaching companies. They were fantastic, but it was once every 2 weeks or once every month or
and you get
once a week.
Moment, and then next thing you know, you're gone for 12 days, and you're like, what did you do in the in between? Like, I did nothing. Right? I did absolutely. So it's funny you say that because, I always say I got in better shape. I'm the last person to say I certainly am not like a world-class athlete, but like I always thought I was in shape. And then I was doing a jiu-jitsu class, and one of the guys there, his wife filmed us, grappling, and I saw myself on video how I looked. Not how I saw myself in the mirror, not how I saw myself walking around, but how I was filmed. And I'm like, I thought I was in shape. I look horrible. Like, I didn't realize I had gained that much weight, right? And it was like, it wasn't until the video didn't lie of what I looked like, right? Until I actually saw raw footage of what I looked like. And I literally cleaned out my fridge. And I was like, I was disgusted. And then it was like, I've gotten much better. I slimmed out, because when you have evidence that you can't lie to yourself, that's when you start to make changes.
Yes.
Right? It's just the truth.
Yes.
Right? And I always thought, I was like, man, I look great. And you're like, no, you do not at all.
Gentle. Well, big congrats for cleaning out your, like, just to be gentle with stuff. Right. And that's part of the programming, right? We, like in North America particularly, but I'm seeing it even here. Like, it's serious how much junk there is out there. Like, it's
absolutely
right. So thank you for taking care of yourself. That's fantastic. And don't feel way better, eh?
10 times better. That's a whole nother. What's funny is, just to briefly segue into that topic, there is not a single, and I don't knock people who take supplements. I don't knock the supplement industry. There's not a single supplement that is actually on the National Institute of Dietitians that helps you lose weight. Not a single one. If you go to the National Institute of Dietitians, they sell all these fat-burning calorie pills. There's not one that is actually, and you're just like, they make billions of dollars telling you this will cut fat. Only thing that'll cut fat is you actually working off the fat. That's it.
Yes, and if I can talk about that if you'd like. It's actually step 1 in the manifestation is your vision. And I shared, I thank you for sharing this and bringing this up. And big congrats to you, Rashad. There isn't a weight thing issue. It's not a food thing. It's not a weight thing. It's a self-image thing, and I'll speak to it. So all my life I said I wanted to be a coach and a speaker, and I actually wanted to get on the world stages and rah people. And it's just what you said there, right? It's motivation doesn't last. Zig Ziglar has said it. It's like bathing. You got to bathe every day, right? So because of my super enthusiastic, bubbly personality, there is an aspect of motivation in my speaking, in my coaching, right? But when I learned this from Bob, which is what I'm going to share, I share this on all the podcasts. So if someone doesn't join my coaching, free or paid, that God willing, they're listening to you right away. They take pen to paper. Step 1 is creating the vision. Because of what I learned from Bob, he says the only prerequisite, Rashad, listen to this, to having it all is knowing what you want. That's step 1. Pen to paper right away, right? And there's a big caveat. We don't get what we want. We get who we're being. That's step number 2. Once you've written the want list, the vision, we must write our self-image. That is identity. That is self-concept. See, we all have an identity that was given to us. That is the biggest lie. We create our real identity, which is that you are God's highest form of creation. You are this universe's highest form of creation. You are number 1 of 1. You are magic beyond words and measure. You are pure liquid love. You are a walking miracle. You are a miracle and the co-creator of miracles. You are a masterpiece and the co-creator of your masterpiece. How many of us?
Absolutely.
Exactly. Thank you, Rashad. How many of us woke up thinking that today? I speak to people every day. I'm in the mind gym. My clients, I remind them of their greatness because of the condition we've forgotten. We don't get up remembering, hey, I'm God's highest form of creation. Let me pinch myself. I said that to my coach today, my personal trainer, when I saw him this morning. I'm like,
absolutely,
man, another glorious day, another masterpiece. He goes, is it? I go, yeah, we
sure did. You woke up.
Sorry, go on.
Absolutely.
Right? So many didn't. Bless them.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's crazy how, just briefly, how every time a funeral or a death happens, people are like, hey, I'm so precious for life. It's so beautiful. And then a month later, they revert back to like that sentence didn't even matter. Right. Like it was never even said.
Right.
So because we're creatures of habit, we revert back to who we originally were.
Yes.
It's crazy.
That is brilliantly said. Thank you, Rashad. It's our programming, which is the biggest lie. So part of the reason, I was going to say North America, it's worldwide really, that the diet industry is doing so well is because of this self-image piece. We have a self-image that life is a struggle, life is hard, or I must be overweight, or I'm a certain way. Therefore, it's become this self-fulfilling prophecy. If we really ate intuitively, lovingly, mindfully, consciously, we cannot. We would win. Because diet, in the word diet, there's die. That's why I refuse to diet. Right? It's literally, right? And I would invite anyone listening in, if there is a struggle with weight, to know that there isn't a weight problem. You're beautiful, whatever you look like. It's part of the programming, first of all, that we need to fit into a certain size. And you know that if you're not in harmony with yourself, you're not eating what naturally comes from God's creation, that is one ingredient usually, that makes you feel the best. Because when we eat all those boxed goods, we're really lowering our vibrational frequency. All those sugary goods that I personally love, my mouth is watering as we speak, cancel. I didn't say I love it, right? I don't want to give it energy, right? Is the conditioning, Rashad. Nature has all the beautiful sugar. All the foods are like
it's
divine,
no different than,
right? But how many commercials
it's funny
do we see
because
to eat fruit?
or like technically you don't have to add salt to anything that's already canned because it already has enough. It's already loaded with it. But we've already convinced ourselves that we need it. I do want to ask you, for people who are listening, how do they find SuZan, her Supercharged program, and become a client? Because people need your positive energy and the mind gym mindset, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, thank you so much. Aren't you such a gift? It would be my pleasure to serve. I'm so humbled. Thank you, Rashad. I'm at Supercharged with SuZan, SuZan. That's a Z for our American Supercharged fam members, SuZan. Supercharged with SuZan on IG, superchargedwithsuzan.com on my website. I don't know when this brilliant episode will air. We're going to have free masterclasses throughout the years. I always do free ones worldwide. Our free event is coming up April the 28th. It's a 5-day free masterclass worldwide. There's no strings attached, completely complimentary for anyone, especially coming from your brilliant podcast. And then once we connect from there, if anyone wants a free one-on-one session to see if there's a fit, zero obligation. I'm happy to hop on personally on a call with your people. Your people are my people to serve them. We'd be delighted to bring this great awareness to our one
I just
human
have one
race.
brief question.
Thank you, Rashad.
Is it only you? Because how do you have time for all the? Do you have an assistant? Do you have anybody to take anything off your plate?
Yes, definitely. It's not only me. I think how they say it takes a village to raise a child. It literally takes a village to serve the world. It takes a village to business. So I have a fantastic team working with me, from a podcast manager to a project manager to marketing, everything in between, social media. Definitely, it's not me. So that that's a great question. I'm getting goosebumps. The reason we hire is so that we can actually live in our zone of genius and serve our human race.
I'm sorry, but you would just shortchange people and not give the best version of yourself if you didn't have a team.
Definitely. And my zone of genius isn't in admin. It's not in marketing. It's here to be here so that we can bring this beautiful awareness that took me years to get to precious people's awareness so that they can thrive in their lives. Because anything else, Rashad, is a big lie. If we're not thriving, if we're not living by design on our own terms, we're jumping into the lie. I can't wait to come back if it is divinely to share more and to share more supercharged shifters.
The energy you give off is global, and you're spreading it across the world, because I don't think Canada or the North America could hold in the energy that you're giving out. So I think it's very important that the rest of the world got a chance to experience it. Rubbed off on me. It definitely showed me, people will work out their body to look the best of their ability, but they forget about the above the neck area. And that takes just as much, preparation, prepare your mind, mental coaching. You have to rep yourself to be a better version of yourself. And I'm very honored to have carved out some time for me. Appreciate you.
My joy. I'm so humbled. Likewise, Rashad. Thank you so much. And all the best with your brilliant podcast. I love it. And I can't wait to hear more episodes.
Thank you very much.
So much.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you, Rashad Wood.